Let's make sourdough naan. This is part of our Sourdough with Us collaboration hosted by Yogi Hollow Farm and myself. Please go check out the playlist for all the other great videos that people are sharing. And if you'd like to join us and you're a YouTube creator, make sure to tag us in your video. All right, let's get started. All right, so here's our ingredients. We are going to use a half a cup of milk, and this is yogurt here. We make our yogurt from goat's milk, so you can see a video for that recipe. I'll try to put the link up above. So we're going to use a quarter cup of our yogurt here. We're going to use a half a cup of sourdough starter discard. We're going to be using 2.5 cups of flour and also a tablespoon of olive oil, and this is pink Himalayan sea salt. We'll use 1.5 teaspoons of that. So the first thing we're going to do is get our wet ingredients in here, and then we're going to add in the dry ingredients. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so I'm adding in a half a cup of milk, and then I will add in a half a cup of the sourdough discard. That is your sourdough that has not been fed. And then I'm going to put in a quarter cup of yogurt, and I almost forgot to video that whole thing. So you'll see like this little drop as I'm remembering and to video it as I do it. And then I'm going to mix this up real well. So you'll see me stirring and stirring as we go. And then I'm going to be adding to this 2.5 cups of flour. And as we put in this flour, my next step after this is going to be to stir it up, but then I'm like, oops, I forgot about the olive oil too. So there's my 2.5 cups. Now you're going to see me go back and reach for this olive oil because I need to add 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and this did not mess it up, guys, just so you know if you make this mistake too. And then we're going to put in a 1/2 tablespoon, which is the same as 1.5 teaspoons of your sea salt, or pink Himalayan salt is what I used. And then get that all stirred up really well. Once you get this stirred up, you're going to have to stir and stir, and then you kind of got to dig your hands in there and make a nice dough ball with it. So once you, I'm not going to bore you with too much stirring here, but once you get that dough ball formed, you'll just put that in a clean, I like to, anytime I'm making any dough, anything, whether it's tortillas or fry bread or whatever, I like to grease it a little before I put it in there. So there's my dough ball. I've covered it, and then voila, the next morning it's risen. Not a whole lot, because remember, we're working with like sourdough starter, or excuse me, sourdough discard, not sourdough starter. If you want it to rise more, you could use, you know, a more fed sourdough. Maybe, I don't know. Mine was pretty well deflated, the discard. So, but I was happy with it. Worked good. I'm going to go ahead and roll these into 8 balls. And then you could even let them rest and rise again, but I didn't. I just went ahead and rolled them out, and then dropped them into a hot cast iron skillet with a little bit of oil. See those bubbles? Time to flip. So then you flip it over, and there you go. And again, it made 8 of these with this recipe. The family loves it. It's good for everything. Hope you all will give it a try. And thank you for watching, everyone. See you on the next one, everybody. Keep your joy.